You're in control of your entire destiny. Write a good story, keep it positive, move forward, never look back. You need to habit up, skill up, and just go. But you have to know what you're talking about and tell everybody. Everybody needs to know you're a real estate agent. If not, then nobody knows you're a real estate agent. It's the good and the bad. You want to be a real estate agent or not? Tell everybody.
Ready? Ready to rock and roll? Is that action? All right. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Absolutely. Go. 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 Go.
Hello, everybody. It's Jason Will with
Go. Go. Go.
This is a real estate podcast, but we talk about leadership, personal growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. Leadership, check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Growth, best version of yourself.
Go. Go.
So this is a real estate podcast. All right, well, it's time to welcome everybody to the Impact Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Will. I am joined by the president and CEO of Jason Will Real Estate, Mr. Jeremy Sullivan.
Woo!
Victoria.
Quick clap.
And then my new executive assistant, Miss Victoria Jones.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Is this your first Facebook Live video?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. Not your first.
No.
Not by a stretch. All right, so let's get rolling here because you're a very interesting guest, Jeremy Sullivan.
Thank you.
I want to get into a lot of topics with you today. We only have 45 minutes. How we're going to corral this into 45 minutes only is going to be a challenge, but we'll see what we can do. But you've had a really interesting year.
Yeah.
So you took a big leap of faith coming to JWRE. In the midst of this, you had the Impact Agent Conference, which was a very stressful event, kind of thrust upon you. And then what else happened? Something happened in your personal life, which was really exciting.
I found out I had a dad that I didn't know I had. That was probably the biggest mind shift. After that, hey, everything's easy.
So you technically started JWRE in was it January 22nd or what? Or
December 17th is when I started kind of
17th.
walking around listening, and then January 17th that's when I kind of officially walked through the door.
Okay. So on what date did you find out that you actually had a dad that you didn't know about?
March 15th.
Okay. You're still a real estate agent.
Yes.
Now you're the president and CEO of a real estate company that has 3 locations. Then March 15th, you find out you have a new dad.
Yes. After that day, I'll be honest with you, that was so much an emotional just ebbs and flows, and they were quick up and down, just like the biggest and baddest ride at Six Flags, Disney, whatever, happened tremendously quick. Then everything's good. That was the day I learned a lot. I always wanted to be self-improvement, and that was the day that I just found just an immediate peace, just understood forgiveness better than I've ever understood forgiveness ever.
Mm.
And you did also, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did have a vibe or something your whole life, like something's off.
Oh, yeah. One of the funniest things is my brother's telling one of his friends, because we went up to Wisconsin, and his buddy's like, you were 8 minutes away. Why didn't you say anything to me? He was like, hey, he told him the story that we were meeting, the bio dad for the first time. And it's my bio dad, and my brother's just, he's just in it with
Right.
me. And I mean, because we're brothers our whole life and forever. And my brother said, this adds up. And he said, we've never seen our parents' wedding picture. And I looked at my brother, and my brother just started laughing on the airplane. He's like, oh my God, my brother just realized he's never seen the wedding picture either. We're just like, what? But, my parents got married like 5 days before I was born. When I say my parents, my dad, the dad that raised me, they got married, and they just kept this secret. And that was it. And we just continued on from there. And then we took Ancestry.com. My wife and I decided, my wife Angie Sullivan, love her, my wife Angie, we decided the heritage that dominated both of us the most, we would go visit. That was our vacation trip. And it was just as simple as that. And my mom, just being good old ma, when she came over and saw the Ancestry.com package laying on the table, it caught her. It caught her off guard. And she was just really engaged with it. I just thought she was just wanting to know so she doesn't have to buy her own. I didn't know that she was harboring this secret.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the results back. Coincidentally, I submitted mine 3 weeks before the bio dad Ron, and I got these emails of cousins that didn't match. It says I was Bohemian, not Irish. I grew up my whole life Irish, thinking I was Irish. And so I go, it must be cross-contaminated. I put it away, put them in spam, and I didn't see 3 weeks later, Ron turned his in, and it matched a parent-son match. It grew from there. And so he contacted Mom, and Mom says, I got something to tell you. And she met Brother and I down at the Bay House March 15th. And she was just telling this story of how she ended up in Texas. And then next thing you know, I could start hearing it. I started understanding. Everything was getting very clear. And ta-da, your dad's not your dad. And I joke around. And to my world, this is funny because I literally walked into the next room and I looked at the wall, just trying to figure out exactly why. Is this true? This fuzz that's in my head. And I walked out, and I think it's like one of the best days of my life. Just to look at my mom. I'm going to get emotional. Hang on there. Just to look at my mom, just say, you know what, I forgive you. I forgive everybody that's involved with this secret. They had a reason. And I don't think it was malicious. And they were just trying to just do their best. 1968. Mom was at an army base. Everybody was coming to and from Vietnam. I mean, crap happened. That's that time, so.
Well, the cool thing is that while you're doing this, your bio dad is also doing that. What prompted him to do Ancestry.com?
Well, the middle son, Greg, who's actually known as the funniest one. There's an inside New Brothers joke on that one.
Right.
He bought it for his dad, and they just want to understand their heritage.
Yeah.
And it was as simple as that. And they receive the results. Ron thought it was like advertisement. You know, it's like father-son match. Because I fixed up my profile, had my headshot on there. He just thought it was an advertisement and just, I don't want to pay him any more money. There's no reason to. We want to get the results and go. But Greg and Adam and Dave, they saw this parent-father match. And Dad, what is going on here? And so they did Facebook posts. Thank God, I'm a good networker. Instantly could find me and find my mom. And Ron's like, oh, yeah, I do know this Jan Thompson. And they made out, in November of 1968.
I think that I don't really know the full, biological sequence, but I think they probably did a little bit more than make out.
Well, these are PG versions. My mom's already going to have a talk to me about this. She's the minister. She doesn't really appreciate the way I opened that little box, but whatever. It's doing good.
It's real life.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just the chances of all this happening is pretty phenomenal.
I love it. We all have choices. This forgiveness is done. Our past is perfect. We can't change it. It brought us to exactly where we are now. And we have to, every single moment, second, day, time, we have a choice. It's good or bad. You can use better words. It can be fruitful or torturous. It's just either good or bad. That's the only two choices you have in life. So I'm taking good.
All right, so let's recap for just a minute, and let's go through the timetable really, really quick. So January 17th, you take over as president and CEO of JWRE. March 15th, you do the Ancestry.com test.
That's when we get the results.
That's when you got the results.
That's when my mother told us.
March 15th.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just got back recently from meeting your bio dad in person.
Yes.
And a lot of people that are watching this have been following the journey. I mean, it's blowing up with people up there. So I saw you meet him live in the airport and all that stuff. So what was the date of that trip? So June 6th or something, you're up there?
I left last Wednesday.
When did the Discovery Leadership thing come in? And what date did you go to Discovery Leadership?
Discovery Leadership, I'm grateful for that too. I think that helped encourage it because that was in April. And so I was kicked hard right in the brain. And then I had to kind of like recover from that and make these decisions without really a plan. No, but Mom didn't say, here's this news. Oh, and here's the plan to help you get through it. It was up to myself to get through this. And I had a lot of support from my wife, and I'm just completely grateful for that. But I went to Discover Leadership at Running Cougar Ranch out in Houston, Texas with Mike Jones. And I sat through that class, and everything they said was spot on. It's just stuff that I know, I mean, we all know, but he started lining it up. And he just really got it to a point, and I just saw it was a crisp, clear, just trail. And it made tremendous amount of sense. It gave me the authority to have that self-confidence. It gave me the authority to be that risk taker, to have that courage, to have the enthusiasm, to know that my worth was there, to be positive. And all of these things just lined up, and it was just an incredible adventure. And I come out, and there's like no way back. And I drank the juice. You know, I know his last name's Jones. It's always a good joke, but
Right.
I drank that Kool-Aid, and it was delicious, you know? And coming back is just I immediately came back and talked to Allison Ward, and just without a question, I'm so grateful she trusts me on this. And I said, you're the next one, you're going in. And she went the next 2 weeks, I believe it was. And she went through and she came out a phenomenal person. And nobody's bad. I don't want to say anything, but nobody's bad. But it's just really a good improvement of adjusting yourself and just getting your perimeters back in order. You know, we have great perimeters as children, and they get so distorted by society and parents and friends and playgrounds. This puts everything back in order. I mean, it's a childlike behavior that you're positively moving in a direction, and you have the absolute authority to do everything you want to do, and realize it's just your personal responsibility and choice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a book about that, The Magic. It talks about just what you have as a child,
Right.
Just this freedom, no boundaries, just pure joy and enthusiasm, and it just, the world, like you said, just starts to kind of compartmentalize that and put it in this box, and stress and responsibilities and all that stuff. You just slowly lose just that inherent joy that's in you. But at Discovery Leadership, is that where you took away that the past is perfect mantra, or did you develop that somewhere else along this journey this year?
I developed it along this journey this year. I'd have to say that, and it's been adding every year of my life, and I'm realizing more and more that it is, you know, the joys in my life were absolutely something that I allowed happen with my attitude, and the crap that happened to me is absolutely, without a doubt, my fault and my attitude. So again, go back to good and bad. Just choose the good and go forward. But knowing that when I hit Discovery Leadership, the reason I'm so pro Discovery Leadership is that it is put together in a simple format that anybody can get it. But it has to be kind of taught. Especially of a lot of us people that are self-help, kind of helpers to themselves, especially in our industry, because we need to have a positive attitude to sell property, because it's really hard to sell property when you just like, that's a piece of junk house, you want to write it up. You know, you just have to have that that positive attitude. So we're always trying to correct ourselves and improve. This put the journey in front of you, and you just take off, and it just makes it so much easier.
I just want people that are watching that will listen later just to adopt that mantra themselves, that the past is perfect, because if you start thinking about it, you first introduced it to me when we had dinner a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And then I just had lunch with a business owner in Fairhope, and he was talking about how he came home one day and his wife was like, hey, after 17 years of marriage, she's like, hey, I'm moving out. And he's like, oh, really? Where are you going? And, you know, that just turned his world upside down. But now he's got a new wife, a 14-month-old daughter. That's awesome. His whole perspective on life has changed. And at the time, it was bad. You know, it was the worst time of his life. But now he's like, I'm so glad that happened. And if there's so many things that we can all go, dang, our past is perfect.
This has been said to me a lot of times when I talk about the past. There's some models out there. It's like, would you need to, you know, give forgiveness to people? You know, write down like 10 people and send them a forgiveness note. Nope, you don't. You can't change it. It's perfect because you can't change it. You can't even recreate it. It's perfect. Let it go. Choose positive and move forward and keep a good attitude. And it's done. Because if you die right now, you can't change it. It's done.
Right. And I know you said that he felt like something was off. Mm-hmm. How does that feel now? Is that better?
It's humorous. Because there's a story. So when I grew up, there's a story that my grandmother on my father's side didn't see me for 2 weeks because, and when I walked up on the story, they made this elaborate story, and it's really cool. She didn't want to see me because my father gave me a non-good Irish boy name, and she misunderstood and thought they named me Geronimo, like the Indian that was caught in Fort Pickens. And I thought that was ludicrous.
Is that an Irish name?
No, not at all. That's why that's why my Catholic Irish grandmother was just that's their story. But the truth was, 5 days before I was born, my parents got married, and they got married. And I know my grandma. I love her to death, and I know she loves me or loved me because she's passed away. But that in the beginning, she's like, "What is my son doing?" You know, he's marrying this huss back in the day, and you know she doesn't want to see me. But she either fell in love with me or faked it really good her whole life. But I think she fell in love with me because I mean I loved her. I've hugged her and cried with her and everything.
But there's other really cool things, like everybody on the dad's side of the family that raised you was like Navy, right?
Oh yeah, that whole family's Navy, and I'm the only Army. And bio dad's side is Army.
Yeah. So it's just weird things like that. It's amazing how things are kind of connected. So again, I want to just try to put this in perspective for everybody who's watching. So just totally big shift, career change in January. You know, find out that the guy you thought was your dad your entire life is not your dad. That was passed away. You thought you had buried your father. He's not your father. Your bio father is actually alive and well, living in Wisconsin. You kind of go through this whole internal, you know, self-reflective journey that leads you to this discovery leadership. And here you are coming out the other side. But at the same time, while all this stuff is going on, there's not a lot of people around you outside of Angie and maybe your brother and your mom that really know the whole lot of this stuff is going on because you're just a positive guy.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I try to be because, again, working with the agents is very similar to, you know, working with the buyer. I can't show an agent a bad day because we have to get on board. I had the ability through your decision to come on board JWRE Real Estate, and it's probably it actually has one of the greatest tribes of culture in real estate. It is amazing because I've interjected with a lot of different offices. I'm a friendly guy. I can walk in and out of most doors. I'd say all doors, but just in case I don't know, maybe most doors then. But I can walk in and out of all doors, and I have interjected with all the brokers and owners and agents, and I've always had a good camaraderie with everybody, but this office is phenomenal. I mean, you really created this incredible culture. So my biggest stress on this entire process is probably, please don't ruin the culture. Please don't ruin the culture. Right. But I think it's working. I mean, I had to come in here and listen. I had to listen for those first 2 months. I can't change anything. I don't know this culture better than you do. And so I just had to listen. I had to kind of understand exactly what you're doing, how you grew this, how you made this, how I can't be Jason, but I just do the best Jeremy I can be and just get in there and listen and adapt to this world. So hopefully I have, and we have a lot of things coming up that we just want to introduce to this culture and just keep the camaraderie. That's why we stopped recruiting. We don't want to mess this up. This is the best and most badass thing in the whole county, you know? I'll match it against Mobile County or any county around us. It's an incredible tribe. I mean, every one of these people that walk in here are open. They're transparent. They're helping each other. We have agents that help train other agents. It's an incredible movement in real estate because we all work together. Everybody works together. Everybody's equal. I mean, I know there's some offices that judge people on production, judge people on units. This office just judges each other on performance to humankind. And it's just, you can't get any better than that.
That's pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For anybody that's listening or watching that doesn't know who Jeremy Sullivan is, you were a successful agent on the Alabama Gulf Coast, selling homes and condos, making a very good living. You certainly did not need to take on this stress and at this point in your life. So I don't know, what was it, just the challenge of it? What attracted you to the position?
I just wanted to be Emily Burke's boss.
Yeah, and I have her on my list because I know she would be crushed if we didn't talk about her during this interview. But I mean, technically, yes, you are her boss.
Right.
If she was here on another mic, she would say, well, she could send your real estate license back, but not before you fired her.
Right. But, Emily introduced JWRE Real Estate to me through videos, and also we have a great friendship, great connection, and we have always, bounced ideas back and forth. We're each other's venting post when something would just kind of erupt, and we're just trying to understand the obstacles and overcome them and just fix these problems that come up in everyday real estate. That's the things that we enjoy and we love the most, because this is how we improve, is these obstacles is becoming better with each and every deal. And I'd come to the power lunches, and then she asked me to speak and teach at a couple of them, and it just kept growing more and more. And the more I got to see what you're doing in this culture, and the more I started seeing this culture just grow, it's truly amazing, because these people just really just reached out and pulled you in. Whereas in other offices, not all of them, but a lot of the offices, they really kind of stiff arm you. They want you to keep you away from this business. I can run into any trend of any market summary or city or anything like that, and there's plenty. There's absolutely plenty. There's no reason to stop somebody from growing. And what we do in this culture is help project people to do more. We even have a great little attitude. We help other offices grow more, because I'm complimentary to other agents that are out there. I'm like, great job, good job. And I think it troubles them because they don't live in that environment we live in. The goal is to fight every single day to create a quality of work life that you can appreciate and that you can take home. And that one day will create that organic recruiting, and we get to pick who comes into our sphere of influence. Nobody's coming into our world because of how much money they make. They have to come in with, just good human behavior, good character. Because why do you only want to mess up the best culture in the county?
Well, at the same time, you want them to be productive agents. Why is that important?
Money. It boils down to money, because we do have to pay the light bills. We do have to, we have summer parties and, year-end parties and Mardi Gras parties and grateful parties now that we're implementing into the company. But we have to keep the lights on. We have these agent service girls getting extremely trained up. They're getting very, 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 very professional, and they're working every day to improve their behavior. So if any person walks in the door, they can receive them in the most professional manner they can, and then address them to where they need to go to. And it's our job to be professional. Now, if the independent agent's authentic character is to be Hillbilly Bob with them, that's their job. Our job is to be professional. It's our job to receive any of this work they give us, like our closing packages, and just get the work off the agent so they can be more productive. We're not going to slow down. We're not going to be the reason the agent slows down. I don't need them standing at a copier and trying to copy paperwork when we can do that, and they can go out and make more money.
Well, I've come up with my 3 Ps, my 3 Jeremy Sullivan Ps. It doesn't sound
I see your smile.
It doesn't sound, it's not a very, I really feel like that Victoria could have come up with a snazzier title. But this is like her 6th day. But it is professionalism.
Yes.
Is a big one. I probably should have led with positivity, because that's just really who you are. Positivity is how you live. Professionalism is how you work. And then at the end of the day, profit is important to you.
Absolutely.
So another takeaway, so we've got the past is perfect, but another key takeaway that we can leave people with is that, you can make a lot of money and still be positive.
Absolutely. Yes. You'll make more money being positive. And I really believe if you get every agent trained up first with their attitude, and you get them to keep that positive attitude, and you teach them the skill to sell real estate, and you teach them really good habits, I think it's absolutely, without a doubt, easy for every single agent to make $200,000 working only 20 hours a week. But it has to be their attitude. It has to be their skill set. And it has to be the habit they have. They have to have these things to do it. If they don't, it's a challenge to get up there. But it's really easy. I've done it several times. And I'll just keep pushing.
So, I don't know. I think maybe you should repeat that. So, this is what you feel like is your value proposition, is that you can teach an agent who has the right attitude how to make $200,000 a year working 20 hours a week in real estate.
Absolutely.
Okay. If I was an agent out there, even though we're not recruiting, I would want to come figure out what that means.
Yeah. We got it written down in a book, and we can go over it step by step by step, but it doesn't just come up by you can't just walk by that book and learn it by osmosis. I think that's extremely possible. It takes a positive attitude to it. It takes just simple habits to do it every single day, and you have to have that attitude that to improve your obstacles that come at you, and the skill set is the weirdest thing. I've heard agents say, I'm ready for that customer, I'm ready for that client. And I ask, do you know the purchase agreement? Do you know the listing agreement? No, but I'm ready. Well, you don't. So if you don't know it, you don't know it. So the skills have to be in there. You have to be educated. You have to be professional. And keep going for that extra education, GRI.
Well, this is interesting. I've often just commiserated on this issue, whatever it is in the real estate industry, that agents are so focused on the opportunity or finding an opportunity or capitalizing on that opportunity. But as you just mentioned, very appropriately, they're not prepared for the opportunity.
That's probably one of the biggest things.
What? Why?
Well, because I hate to use the word entitlement. They're like, okay, I got my license, I'm ready for a customer. But that doesn't give you the opportunity to have a customer. It gives you an opportunity to ruin a customer and continue just like slandering, our world. You're rubbish unless you know those tools. It's easy. It's a RECAD. It's a listing agreement, a purchase agreement, a net sheet. I just need you to know those 100%. And that's all you need to make a crap load of money in this industry. But you have to have those habits to do that every time. And you just have to do it. It's the weirdest thing. You don't even have to do it a lot. The first cycle you go through, it's kind of a hump because you're working with a lot of people that the other agents kind of let go. Most big agents that are working enjoy those customers and clients that make it easy. Those complicated and difficult ones, you're getting fired left and right. So let them go. If somebody's going to fire me, let them go. I can help somebody else.
Well, it's interesting. I got to go to a real estate training event I can't remember if it was Baton Rouge or Mandeville, somewhere in Louisiana. Anyway, Dave Jinks was there, who co-authored The Millionaire Real Estate Agent with Gary Keller.
Oh, wow.
And he was talking about, he posed this question to the audience. He goes, what do you think gives agents like the deepest like insecurity? Like, why are agents so insecure? What are they worried about? What gives them the most anxiety? And a lot of agents, were like, oh, what are they going to say if, not being able to answer a question they get asked, or screwing up the presentation or any of that stuff. And he was like, no. He's like, most of them, whether they realize it or not, is that if they are somehow, by the grace of God, actually able to capitalize on this opportunity and earn that customer's business, they don't know what to do with them from there. Like, they don't know what to do if the customer says, all right, let's write it up.
Right.
They don't know what to do. If it's like the customer goes, if they somehow pull out a great presentation out of their butt, and the customer goes, all right, I'll list with you, then they're like, oh, crap, now I got to go over the listing documents. He's like, that's if they know, the confidence comes from knowing the documents. And everybody was like, no, it just blew everybody's mind and nobody got it. Everybody was like, no, I need to know the presentation and I need to, know what to say to somebody to get an appointment. And
I can sell thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more with a purchase agreement and a listing agreement, a net sheet and a RECAD than I can with a listing presentation. Because a listing presentation is just the fluff. If you don't know those agreements, and you can't figure out how to have somebody sign them and display it in layman's terms in a positive manner, you'll never make that sale.
All right, well, when you lost your train of thought, you were talking about the GRI and CRS and all that stuff. Right. But there's research behind how much more those agents earn than agents who don't.
Right.
So it's math.
A regular agent, now I don't want to be quoted on these numbers because I don't have those notes, but I know they're around, an agent just has their real estate license, makes about $40,000 a year. They get their GRI and it goes up to like $55,000 a day. Graduate Realtors Institute gives you an extra $15,000. And the reason why is because you understand the professional rules better. And that's what you need to get your skill setting. And your CRS, that goes up to what, $262,000?
That's incredible.
There's other ones out there. Some say if you're coming into the office and working more from the office or work to a dedicated work spot, that increases your value of $15,000 a year. So quit working at Starbucks and get your habit. Create your habit and just Get down and start measuring. I'll jump off the subject on that. Measuring is the biggest thing that you can ever do in real estate, because when I first got in real estate, I was paying Trulia and Zillow a lot of this money, and all my money was coming from my organizations that I was involved in. And then when I started tracking that, I go, holy cow, I'm spending $1,500 to, $2,000 a month on these other ones to get, these 1 million leads a day that don't amount to anything. And I'm not paying attention to the people that give me money. So after I tracked myself for 90 days and then turned around and realized that everybody that gave me money, that trusted me and wanted to be my customer and client, I just started focusing on them. And instead I didn't give them $2,000 each or anything like that, but I started, with koozies and pens and just writing personal notes to them. And they started giving me more referrals. And then so I started tracking those referrals, and I started understanding exactly where my money was coming from. And it's not shallow, it's business. You have to understand where your money's coming from. And so you go that direction. If you keep guessing and going for this glittery ball, you're going to keep losing money and losing money and losing money. Everybody that's successful in real estate, all they have to do is turn around and make a lot more money.
So you're my Uncle Jeremy, and I'm your nephew Jason.
Right. That's weird, but I'll go with it.
I don't say anything.
And I just got my real estate license.
Right.
And I'm embarrassed. Your brother, my dad tells me, go ask your Uncle Jeremy if he knows anybody that wants to buy real estate, or he's always talking to people. And I'm like, no, Dad, I'm embarrassed to go ask Uncle Jeremy for business. I don't want to bother him. He's a busy guy, and I just don't want to feel like I don't want to be a nuisance, or whatever the excuse is I can come up.
Right.
What would you say to me? Or what would your advice be to your nephew, Jason?
Quit writing that stupid story in your head. Write a better story. Write something positive. Write something that makes you better, and put that in your head, and then go talk to Uncle Jeremy. And then listen. Just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. You just got your license. You can't tell me how to do real estate when you just got your license. Shut up. Listen. I promise you, I have written down. I have a 5-year plan written down in black and white. Look at that. You can't learn it by just going, oh yeah, look through it. Get in it, dive in it. Shut up.
Now, if you had your ideal real estate company would be agents who are committed to this higher education, let's say, you would love to have an agency that has, everybody's striving to get their broker's license.
Yeah.
Things like that. For the professionalism, because the professionalism equals the profit.
Right.
And at the same time, we don't have to have a culture where we're vultures, we step on each other's neck, or we steal business, or it's not cutthroat, I guess is the way to do it. We can all still do it and be positive and be good human beings to one another.
Yeah, I wish every agent would get their broker's license. I wish every agent would go to JWRE. I wish every agent would do the Committed to Excellent test. I wish every agent would do CRS. I wish every agent would practice becoming more professional, because I guarantee every single day they practice being more professional, they absolutely just increase their value, because it happens in your speech. You start surrounding yourself by people like-minded that make good money and they know what they're talking about. You indirectly become that same type of person, but still say authentic you, but know your stuff.
So takeaways, we've got your past is perfect.
Yes.
I want people to focus on your 3 Ps, which is, the positive, profit. What's the other one, Victoria?
I totally forgot.
Productivity.
Professionalism.
Professionalism.
It's day 6.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're going back to day 6.
Yeah.
I think it's very profound that anything that you don't want to do, this is what I'm hearing you saying, anything that you don't want to do or you think you can't do, it all really goes back to the story or the conversation you're having with yourself in your head.
Absolutely. You're in control of your entire destiny. Write a good story, keep it positive, move forward, never look back.
So I am a real estate agent out. I'm struggling. Maybe I am. I've got a second job at Starbucks. Just thinking, well, if I don't get a deal soon, I'm going to have to throw in the towel. And I haven't gone to my friends' family, my friends of friends, and told everybody that I know with a great attitude that I have a real estate license in it. And I haven't taken the time to read all this paperwork backwards and forwards. I mean, is that where it's as simple as that?
It's as simple as that. And once you learn all that, it's great to tell everybody. You're excited, especially when you got a new license, you want to sign it, and you tell everybody. That is great motivation to get out there. But oh my God, you need to have it up, skill up, and just go. But you have to know what you're talking about and tell everybody. Everybody needs to know you're a real estate agent. If not, then nobody knows you're a real estate agent. It's the good and the bad. You want to be a real estate agent or not? Tell everybody.
I find myself having that conversation with agents a lot that, like you're a public figure.
Yeah.
You chose a profession where you have to put yourself out there.
One specific agent in my past, and she didn't want to communicate with all her graduates of her university and friends. She didn't want them to know that she was a real estate agent. To this day, she's not a real estate agent now. Because she was embarrassed, but she was embarrassed because she didn't know everything she needed to know. And so she didn't have the confidence to do it. If you don't have the confidence to tell anybody you're a real estate agent, just get out. Hurry up. Get to Starbucks. There's nothing wrong with Starbucks, but go get another job. You're just wasting your time.
And if people were listening, I think they would have heard you say at one point you were buying leads, you were chasing business, and you made a distinction because you started tracking and measuring where your business was coming from. You came to the realization that you're actually organically generating this business. So you stopped chasing and started attracting. Just being who you are, your positive self. What if somebody's out there watching, they're like, I'm not positive? Victoria often has a negative attitude. So if she's like, well, I'm just not as positive, Jeremy. I can't sell real estate. I'm not going to be as attractive as he is because I'm not positive. Is that just a conversation I'm having with myself that I'm a negative? I just need to start telling myself that I am positive and I'll change my life?
Absolutely. I'll just tell you, there's some ugly people in real estate and they make a lot of money. And we all have our issues. Some of us hide it better than others. It's your story.
I think it links back to confidence as well.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to have the confidence.
Not dwelling on the past, moving forward.
Go for it.
Things like that.
You got nothing to lose.
Or, the only thing you've got to lose is you go back to the 9 to 5.
Oh, you can do that.
Yeah. I don't know. We'd have to maybe follow up with this person you're talking about to see if she's happy in the career that she's in right now because she didn't make it in real estate because she didn't want to tell anybody she was a realtor. Who knows?
Maybe one day. I don't want to yeah, we're good. We're all good.
I hope you're happy out there.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got some big stuff planned for JWRE. We're not going to talk about the future of the company. That's a secret.
Right.
We're having our mid-year company meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock at B-Car. If there's any JWRE agents out there who are watching, they're going to miss out if they don't come.
I hope. I lay in bed just thinking about how wonderful this thing is going to be. If you don't come, you don't come. That's your decision. But we're going to have a really good time, and we have some phenomenal just things that are about to surface in the company. And I'm so excited. And I think it's just going to take us to another level.
Well, and we also just need to, in full transparency, you talked about how JWRE has a culture that you've never experienced or rarely experienced in the industry. It's this great, unique thing. But at the same time, it's not that we don't want to say that everybody participates because they don't.
No, they don't. But it's okay. As the president of the company, I want everybody to be engaged. I want everybody to do it. I want everybody, to drink the juice and be, the kumbaya, the everything that you ask for. But I know there's some people out there and some personalities that don't want to participate, but they really make good production. And I don't want to engage with them. Let them do what they're doing. They're having their own good time and we're having our good time. I just don't want an agent to say that we didn't give them an opportunity to learn and we didn't give them an opportunity to engage in our culture. And that's what we push really hard to do. And we understand we have to deal with different personalities.
That's good. Mm-hmm. You're being very quiet over there, Victoria.
I'm listening. I'm just soaking it all in.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Sponge.
Yeah. I'm not hearing a nasally voice. Are you hearing it?
I can relate to a lot of the topics y'all touched on, and I'm not even a real estate agent.
You too have a past, and knowing that your past is perfect, does that give you some relief?
It does. It's very comforting.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just carrying this stuff around.
You're just wasting your time. Get it over with. Move forward.
It's a hard
Go ahead.
lesson. That's a hard thing to learn to do, but that's for another podcast.
I mean, you could have been so busy kind of being pissed off at the world that you maybe didn't take this trip last week to see your dad and like, oh, I'll go see at the end of the summer. I really need to, I'm pissed off at my mom right now. I mean,
Right.
But it's like, what point is all that? I mean,
It's not.
And I want to say that is a beautiful thing to me, your feelings towards your mother and understanding of all that, because I have seen this in different scenarios where they didn't handle it as well as you did.
I don't believe my mom's a malicious person. And I know my mom just did the best she could do with the information that she had and the examples that she experienced, and she just did her best. Was it the right thing? Heck yeah, because it got me right here. So it worked out really great. You know, I'm a dad. I don't always do the right thing for my kids, but they know I'm not doing anything malicious. They still get mad at me. And, you know, it's not always good jokes with, you know, good times, dad. We just have to improve. It's okay.
Right.
that's good stuff. Well, I mean, we're right on time here, which is crazy. Do we need to say something about Emily Burke before we go?
Yeah, I guess. Emily really puts in a lot of time and effort, and I really appreciate what she does down at the Gulf Coast office, but I'm her boss.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's actually the only person that disputes that or would dispute that.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. It's a little crazy, but do you ever let her win at card games or anything really to give her?
She comes over to my house and she gets a marker and she writes on my mirrors, my walls, my windows that she's my boss. And I'm still
Weird.
haunted by
It's really weird.
It's almost creepy.
But you just let her run with it because, you know, that's the kind of leader you are.
I'm just trying to build her, you know,
Yeah.
self-confidence.
Is she going to Discover Leadership?
She actually is. My wife and Emily are going not this weekend, next weekend. And they're going there. And I am like extremely excited and grateful for this. And we do have a plan that, you know, all qualifying brokers are going to go to just Discover Leadership. The founders are going to Discover Leadership, kicking or screaming. No, I think you're all in. But I mean, and we have, I can't talk anymore.
All right, it's all secretive. I got it. Yeah, we should close it. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and everybody who will be listening in the future. There's a lot of takeaways in this episode, especially if you're dealing with stuff from your past, whether it's really far back or not so distant. I mean, if it's really recent or really deep in the past, that there's an opportunity there.
Yeah.
And the opportunity is really a decision to dwell on it or learn from it, grow, and move on and be better.
Yes, absolutely.
Jeremy Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us. Victoria, you can look forward to Victoria coming back often unless she quits. This is sick.
I'll be back. I will see y'all soon.
At least for one more episode. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for listening to the Impact Agent Podcast. If you liked the show and got something out of it, please like the Impact Agent Podcast on Facebook and rate and review the show on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts. This really helps us grow the show and helps other agents find it. Please share it with your friends and coworkers as well. Want us to deliver the show to you via email every week? Then email me at jason@impactagentuniversity.com and we'll send you the show every week. Please let us know what you think about the show, what you like, what you don't, or possibly make a suggestion about a topic you want to hear. Email me at jason@impactagentuniversity.com or leave us a message on Facebook at Impact Agent Podcast. Until next week, everybody be productive, safe, and happy, and always keep learning. This podcast is produced by Johnny Gwynn at Deep Fried Studios in Mobile, Alabama, and is paid for and powered by ImpactAgentUniversity.com.